I am Andy. Looking at the United States economy in 2026, I see middle-income families facing major financial threats. Most people spend 30 years building a retirement plan, but they spend about 30 minutes thinking about what could destroy it. You might plan for market crashes. You might spread your money around. You do everything right. But then a divorce happens, or you get a bad medical diagnosis, or someone falls on your property and sues you. Everything you built is gone. It does not happen slowly. It happens overnight. The three things most likely to wipe out a lifetime of savings do not show up in your investment accounts. They come from a court order or a hospital bill, and these events hit you hardest when you can least afford to start over. Today I am naming all three of these threats. I will show you the real numbers and give you a way to defend yourself. Let us get into it. Threat number 1 is divorce. Let us start with this number, nearly 40%. Looking at the latest data from the 2022 American Community Survey, nearly 40% of all people getting a divorce in the United States today are over the age of 50. For adults over the age of 65, the divorce rate has tripled since the 1990s. Experts call this the gray divorce revolution. It is changing retirement for millions of people, and their financial plans were never built to survive this. Here is what most people do not know. When a long marriage ends your retirement accounts, do not just stay with the person whose name is on them. Any money you put into a 401k or individual retirement account or pension during the marriage is considered shared property. A specific court order can legally tell your plan manager to take your money. It splits your retirement balance and transfers a portion directly to your former spouse. There is no penalty and no warning. 3 decades of careful saving gets divided by a judge before you ever touch a single dollar. I read about a woman who divorced her husband of over 20 years when she was in her early 50s. She said the financial damage felt like a nuclear bomb went off in her life. She had to rebuild her career at age 54. She had to start over with no credit history. She had to redo a retirement plan that was meant for 2 people. Her story is very common. Research shows that wealth can drop by up to 50% after a late-in-life divorce. Women over the age of 50 see their standard of living drop by roughly 45%. Men see a drop of 21%. A market crash can recover over time, but time does not give a 55-year-old person the same chance to recover as a 35-year-old person. One man described the feeling of picking up the pieces. He said, "You are no longer adding to what you saved. You are just trying to rebuild what you lost. Here is my defense strategy for you. You need to understand how property laws work in your state. Community property states split accounts 50-50 by law. Other states leave it up to a judge to decide what is fair. You must keep both spouses involved in the finances, not just one person. And if one partner holds most of the retirement savings, you should consider a legal agreement made after marriage. This is a smart planning tool, not a negative thought. Threat number 2 is illness and long-term care. This threat does not announce itself. It builds quietly and then eats up everything at once. According to the United States government, 70% of Americans who reach the age of 65 will need some kind of long-term care before they die. The average person needs about 3 years of care. 1 out of every 5 people will need 5 years or more. Now let us look at what that care actually costs. A private nursing home room hit a national average of $127,750 per year in 2024. Assisted living costs $70,800 a year. Even in-home care costs more than $77,000 a year for full-time support. Here is the number that changes everything. A 2026 report found that the middle-income household aged 75 and older holds about $50,000 in total financial assets. $50,000. That only pays for a few months of nursing home care. That is not a solid plan. That is a massive gap. News reports have looked into this crisis. They found families all over the country watching decades of savings vanish. This is not from making bad money choices. This comes from severe diseases that you cannot control. One retirement expert put it very clearly. He said people face the real risk of draining almost all of their wealth. Here is the trap that most people miss. The government health care program for the poor does cover nursing home care. but they only pay after you have spent your own money down to about $2,000 in most states. The retirement money you spent decades building becomes your deductible. You must pay until your money is gone. Then the government steps in. And if you are married, that spending does not just affect you. It can leave your spouse at home with almost nothing while the medical bills get paid. Imagine a retired person with $300,000 saved. They enter a memory care home at age 78. At $127,000 a year, that entire balance is gone in about 2.5 years. This loss is not from a bad stock market. It is from a medical diagnosis. Data shows that long-term care costs went up by nearly 50% between 2019 and 2024. These costs are growing much faster than the household income of older Americans every single year. Threat number 3 is lawsuits and legal liability. This is the one that gets dismissed immediately. You might think you are not a doctor or you are not rich enough to get sued. Here is why that thinking is dangerous. Over 40 million lawsuits are filed in the U.S. every year. More than 400,000 are personal injury claims. Car accidents alone produce roughly 3 million injuries annually. A guest gets hurt at your home. A dog bite. A business dispute. A small car crash where damages go over your insurance limit. These are not rare cases. They happen on ordinary days to ordinary people. And here's what most people have completely wrong. They assume their retirement accounts cannot be touched. Workplace plans like 401k accounts and 403b accounts and pensions get strong federal protection under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. This is a federal law specifically designed to shield workplace retirement accounts from the people you owe money to. In most civil cases, those accounts cannot be reached. But individual retirement accounts are a different story. Individual retirement accounts are not covered by this federal law. Their protection depends entirely on your state law. I read some advice from an estate attorney. They said your 401k money cannot be touched by a lawsuit. That is a good reason not to roll over your 401k into an individual retirement account when you retire. That one sentence could protect decades of your savings. In states like New Hampshire and New Mexico, there are no specific laws shielding individual retirement account assets from legal judgments at all. In California, protection only covers what a judge decides is reasonably necessary. This means a large individual retirement account balance can be partially taken from you. For business owners and landlords and professionals, the risk grows even further. And here is the critical detail. Courts look at what protection you had in place before the lawsuit was filed. They do not care what you scramble to arrange after the fact. This is the one threat that is almost entirely preventable if you put the right structure in place right now. Here is how I suggest you build a plan that actually survives. For divorce, you need to know your state marital property laws before they apply to you. Keep both spouses informed and involved with the money. If one partner holds the bulk of the retirement savings, a legal agreement made after marriage is a smart planning tool and not a bad sign. For illness, you should buy long-term care insurance in your 50s before your health history changes the price. Build a health savings account consistently. It is the most tax-efficient medical reserve you can get. And choose where you want to retire by looking at care costs as a real factor. Nursing home costs in the least expensive states run less than half of what they cost in the most expensive states. That price gap is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. For lawsuits, I recommend adding an umbrella insurance policy. It costs a few $100s a year and extends your protection well beyond what your home and auto insurance provide. If you run a business, you must keep a proper limited liability company that legally separates your business money from your personal money. And before you automatically roll an old 401k into an individual retirement account, you should ask one question. Does your state protect individual retirement account assets from legal claims? The answer could change your decision entirely. Most retirement plans are built around one single question. How do I save enough money? But the plans that actually survive are built around a second question. How do I protect what I have built when life comes for it? Because the numbers show that life will come for it. Maybe not in all 3 ways, but in at least one of them. The odds are not in your favor if you do not have a plan. The stock market is not the biggest threat to most retirements. Life is. Nearly 40% of people getting a divorce today are over 50, and most retirement plans were never written to survive a split at that stage. 70% of people over 65 will need long-term care, and the average household over 75 has about $50,000 to cover it. And the accounts most people assume are safe, especially rolled over individual retirement accounts, carry far less legal protection than almost anyone realizes. I want you to know you can build a plan that survives divorce and illness and lawsuits. But you can only do it if you build it before they arrive. Please remember that all the information in this video is strictly for educational and reference purposes only. It is not official financial or legal advice, and viewer discretion is advised. Always consult with a certified professional before making any major financial decisions. If you found this breakdown helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more clear and honest advice to protect your future. Thank you for watching.